Hey, good morning, Patriots. It's another day, another great day in the USA. I'm wearing one of my favorite T-shirts today. Cherie Curry and her sister Marie. Good morning, Cherie and Marie. They're out there and they're doing things. I was just doing things yesterday on X. If you don't follow me on X, you should, because people like Cherie Curry, the famous rock and roller from the 70s, is there with me. Someone who is famous but not a rock and roller is Chris Cordani. Good morning, Chris.
I don't know. I had a band when I was younger. I had a couple bands.
I didn't know that. Were they rubber bands?
No. We weren't that safe. No, I had Chris and the Rich Tones with my friend the Nose.
It's cool.
And of course, Dr. Butcher and the Mental Patients, which was a very short-lived band.
That's a good name.
Yes, I like that. But they didn't.
That's almost better than Adam Schiff and the Watermelon Heads. So, just saying.
Well, Timmy quit and Jody got married. I should have known we'd never get far. Okay, that was bad.
So that's true. So anyway, I was just mentioning I was on X with Cherie. Cherie and I were going back and forth because there's. I posted that we should deport all liberal white women, and she commented because she agreed, obviously, as we all do. So I don't want to get into that because we got things. I don't want to screw the show up by going down that path, but we should someday. But let's start off. We got a guest today too, don't we, Chris?
Yeah, we're having a little fun with our friend Ann Ubellis, who she's the host of the Southern Sense podcast, and we like to bring in other podcasters and have a little fun with them on the show.
She's not liberal. She's not liberal. She's not a liberal. So
no. If you has anybody Patriots, if you want to check it out, Southern Sense podcast, we'll give you information on that. Tony's been on quite a few times, so that's why it's a good show.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Anyway, so we'll have her on in a bit, but for now, let's talk about another one of my favorite people. We've talked about a number this morning already. Let's talk about Tulsi Gabbard.
We like Tulsi Gabbard here. Yes, we're fans.
That could be a series, My Friend Tulsi. Wouldn't that be great? Like a great series, My Friend Tulsi, where she goes around and goes to the intelligence community and fires people.
Wasn't that a Jerry Lewis movie? No, it was My Friend Irma. My Friend Irma was Jerry Lewis.
My Friend Irma. No, it's gonna be like Undercover Boss. Did you see her going undercover as a liberal white woman? No, I couldn't see that. But it'd be funny. It would be funny.
She has to get that Karen haircut.
Yeah,
the one that chick who.
Anyway,
or maybe she gets fake eyelashes like Jasmine Crockett. She'll fit right in.
That could be funny. That could be funny. I should suggest this to Tulsi. Anyhow, back to what's actually going on. She's actually not necessarily undercover, but she's firing people. 37 people have lost their clearances. My, oh, my.
As they should. Sorry, that's it. If you're trying to circumvent America's resurgence, then you have to go. You don't deserve security.
Well,
we don't trust
these
you with
people. Some of these people were still working. As a matter of fact, one was NSA, a former Jim Clapper deputy who had weaseled his way into NSA as their chief technology guy. It's like, okay, yeah, that's bad, but that's a clue. We should follow up on where these guys went after they worked with certain people, because it tells you kind of what they were up to. Just saying, these people, the deep state never sleeps, right? Much like the British Empire. Well, not so much anymore, The sun never sets on the deep state. The sun never sets on the British Empire, right? Wasn't that saying? So.
Well, actually has set on the British Empire. Have you been watching some of the videos put up on social media recently? They're even tearing down any semblance of Britain over the over the last many years. And Sadiq Khan is one of the worst of those perpetrators. Which, by the way, New Yorkers, if you put Khan Mini-Me. Zoram Mem Kami in there. This is what you're going to get. He's been taking down flags, and now people have taken to painting on roundabouts the cross, the European flag. The English flag cross, the England one.
Oh,
yeah, not the Jack, the other one. And think about this: There are people getting arrested for just Facebook posts, but muggings, anything perpetrated, covering pedophile rings. Well, by gum, you start painting a Britain cross, an English cross on the roundabouts. They clean that stuff up in less than a day.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what they think it's
I'm,
intimidating and aggressive towards the migrant population.
well, maybe it is, but so what? So what? It's kind of ironic that they started out with something called the Magna Carta. Did you know that?
Yes,
A
the
little
Magna
history.
Carta and the Master
And it
Charter.
was all about rights, individual rights, and freedom of speech that we kind of based our system off of. Man, oh man. Talk about throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I wonder what Shakespeare would think about all this anti-British nonsense. He should do a play on it where he puts all the woke folks on the battlefield and lets them be headed by knights. I think that'd be kind of a good play, don't you think?
I would say so too. And if you think about it, maybe people would actually read it.
Yeah.
Maybe the kids would be interested in it after a while.
Yeah.
I cannot forget Blackadder the Fifth. Did you see the Blackadder 5, the special?
I've seen all the Blackadders, but I don't remember them like you do. You remember way more detail than I do.
There was a present day special where Blackadder invited his friends, the Blackadder of today, if you will, the present day one, and you had him and Baldric apparently invented a time machine. That's right. Baldric invented a time machine. So he went back and bet his friends they'd bring back artifacts from the past. And when he came across Shakespeare, he said, "By the way, this is for all the 10th graders who have to read all your stuff." Gives him a big punch in the chin. So I thought that was funny. There we go. Well, I thought
in any case, let's go back to Tulsi for a second. I just think it's good that speaking of history, that the deep state history is going to be written out, that they're going to start getting rid of these people. So 37, I don't know the significance of that number, but I think I'd like to believe it's just the beginning of like hundreds. These people are still there. And these are, I think, the principal deputies that were involved in the Russia collusion narrative hoax. So that's a good beginning, but it's not like, okay, that's like, like when you look at a pond, it's like the pond scum on top. It's like, okay, you got a little bit of the scum. You got a lot longer way to go. So anyway, good on Tulsi for starting that process. But man, they got a long way to go. And to the Patriots, obviously we're all anticipating perp walks and indictments, right, Chris? I mean, that's what we all hope is going to happen here.
We need to see those. It's very important at this point because look, they perp walked Roger Stone and Jerome Corsi under false pretenses back in back in the day. So if you will, they try to get I know at least they try to get Dr. Corsi to lie about association with Julian Assange, and he wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
He actually broke down. People don't realize this. He actually broke the entire Mueller investigation. And I like to call him Mueller. It sounds better.
Mueller. Like Mueller. Bueller. Yes. Bueller.
Right.
So.
Right.
Was fun. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see how this all rolls. I think it's going to be good. Anyway, but speaking of more criminals, apparently also in DC, I wonder if these people are going to be now looking for work as part of the what do you want to call it? The roundup of criminals. So let me ask you, do you think these guys are going to be siding with the criminals or with the law enforcement guys in a DC criminal breakdown? I mean, I see these people being potentially out there with criminals doing criminal things, just saying. The guys who lose a clearance.
Look, it's a criminal it's a criminal constituency, if you will. Think about this. This is a city who had a crackhead mayor thrown in jail for his crack and then comes back, runs for office again, gets elected. I mean, the big joke is 80% of the city was either spent time in jail, is in jail, or is on their way to jail. Okay, I'm kind of exaggerating the point, but I think you get where I'm going here. The fact is Mayor Bowser has backtracked and decided to support the criminals. Things are being uncovered as far as Washington's concerned. As a matter of fact, the police union, uh, kind of spilled the beans on how the Washington police have been fudging the numbers to make it look like violent crime rates are down. You want to hear?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let me get the volume up again.
Firm for us that there have been police officers and detectives and members of law enforcement in DC who on the scene of crimes have been told, yeah, don't write that one down, or don't add that to the list, or put that down as a more minor offense.
Absolutely. That's one of the chief complaints of our members when we go around and talk to them, is that they respond to the scenes of these violent crimes. And inevitably, you'll have a captain or a commander or sometimes a lieutenant show up on the scene and advise them to take a report for a lesser offense. One of the things that we see them do often is sometimes there'll be a shooting or a stabbing. And if the victim is uncooperative with the police, which is not uncommon in some areas of the city, they'll be directed to take an injured person to the hospital report, which is not even a crime at all. It's an incident report. Sometimes you'll have a robbery. It'll be reported as a theft. Other times you'll have burglaries that are reported as unlawful entry or thefts. This is something that's been, unfortunately, part and parcel of the police department for some time. And we're very skeptical that these crime stats are accurate.
Look, I'm skeptical too. And let's just say, Tony, that these crime stats are somewhat accurate or close to accurate, and the liberals screaming, "That's preposterous. We didn't do that." Blah 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 blah. No, the fact is, all right. So let's say the numbers are real. They're still very high. I want to bring it to the 19. Let's make it simple here. The 2024 baseball standings. See the Chicago White Sox here? They won 41 games and lost 121 games last year. That, my friends, is the worst record since the 1899 Cleveland Spiders. Okay. Now this year, as you'll see, the White Sox are 45 and 81. They're still well on their way to losing 110 games. So basically, what you're saying is, from just like this, the White Sox improved from 121 losses to potentially 111. And you're talking, and that's maybe a little improvement, but it's still horrendous and needs a lot of work. Well, now you're saying that the Washington crime numbers, the violent crime numbers, went from extremely and insanely horrible to just extremely horrible. So still, either way, these numbers need improvement, and the feds had to step in. There was no choice. And it's not like they just stepped in and took over control over a home rule city, a home rule municipality. No, the feds already have a certain jurisdiction over DC. DC is a district. It's not a state. Washington's a city within that district. The liberals, the left never understands this, or they pretend not to.
They pretend not to, and I think Adam, Muriel Bowser, the ostensible mayor, pretends that she's somehow independent. Yeah, no, it's like, and I do fault President Trump, for not just overruling Bowser and Pelosi regarding 7 January. I think he was trying to play too nice, and he allowed, Bowser said, "Oh, we don't want the National Guard." F you, just sorry. From now on, we're going to tell you what you're going to do, because you're a federal enclave. You're not a state. So I think this is part of it. It's like, yeah, we're not buying into your numbers. They're bad. We think they're worse. And by the way, I think they're worse too. And the people, and I think we've talked about this a little bit yesterday or the day before, both. The people protesting, especially the white liberals over the weekend protesting, they're not from DC. Those people are from out of town. I think most of the people, to include those in high-end neighborhoods who are white, they don't care, are saying, yeah, this is good. We needed to have the federal law enforcement presence come in, because there has been massive lying about the crime, and you can't have that. So I think it's good. I mean, I think it's good that we're just going after crime. So yeah.
Well, let's juxtapose this as well. Gang violence has. Okay, I want to take this to another issue. Just make it a little deeper here. What people don't see also is the liberals are probably going to shoot themselves in the foot over this, because now with this purposeful lack of reporting of violent crimes would also kind of eke in some gun crimes or gun use crimes that the left would want to use to push their gun control points. If you notice, when they use stats that children die of gunshot wounds every year, and the numbers are pretty high. These children include gang members who are aged 14 to 19.
Of course,
and these people shooting.
Yeah, they're not middle schoolers. These are
Right.
high schoolers who are out conducting mischief, big time mischief. So,
And we already have laws on the books to control gang members and people with people who aren't licensed. We already have enforcement on the books for that, but the left refuses to take care of that. It's all on them.
Well, I find it interesting that Mayor of L.A. What's her name? Oh my goodness!
Karen Bass. Yeah, Karen Bass. Yes.
The Marxist Karen Bass was complaining.
There we go.
Yeah, was complaining that this is all about crackdown on black and brown people. It's like, no, it's not. It's about the fact that maybe it just so happens that most of the people who are subscribing to the culture of lawlessness happen to be in that demographic. But it's not about skin color; it's about behavior, right, Chris? It has nothing to do with skin color.
No, it doesn't. It does not. And look, there are feral children, if you will, of all shapes, sizes, and colors.
That's right.
So it always goes down to the individual. But again, the left does not like when you say it always goes down to the individual, because they've been telling you for the last 20 years that individualism is in fact racist. There we go. Speaking of which, let's bring in our cool friend Annie Ubellis, the host of the Southern Sense podcast. Bring in some Southern Sense to us here. Welcome.
A Southern Sense. How about the sense from a retired New York City cop?
I like it.
The men and women from D.C. that wear the shield. Their hands are tied. They're not allowed to do their job because of politics.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So good morning, Ann. So let's pick up right at that point, because so much of what's been going on is that people, for example, I love this. One of the first things that these knucklehead Democrats said is, Trump's holding up billions of dollars to hire people to go on the job. It's not their fault. It's like, dude, there's 800 vacancies. People don't want to put the shield on because they know they're going to be harassed and not permitted to do their job. So I think that's a big factor. Is like, if you treat people badly, you hire them, you train them, you give them a job, and it's like, no, that's not really a crime. That's not really a crime. Yeah, it's not really a crime. I know he shot that kid in the chest, but it's just a flesh wound. Take him to the hospital and write it up as an incident report, right, Chris?
Exactly. And that's
pay no attention to the sucking chest wound.
No. We call this revolving door. The revolving door. That we do our job. We turn around and go and protect and serve. And yet the moment you bring that perp in, before you even have your uniform off to go home, they're back on the street.
Right.
And that's revolving door. That's all it is.
My friend Janine Pirro, who happens to be now the
God, I love her. I love her. I mean,
so she was
with her.
Yeah, she's magnificent. And so, she was on my network, Newsmax, where I work.
I was watching her last night.
So she was on last night. And again, they're playing the tape this morning. She was talking about one case where I'm referencing, where a kid shot another in the chest, underage, under 18. And then they got suspended sentence and sent home. And it's like, go to college. It's like, excuse me, that was attempted murder. And that's what, and this is the point. The DC police charged appropriately attempted murder. It was processed through as attempted murder. It gets to the judge. Oh, it's okay. No big deal. Go to college. I mean, part of this is the judiciary is not backing up the men and women in blue, right? I mean, that's part of the problem.
It's part of the problem. Now, the Constitution deliberately made Washington, D.C. a separate federal entity, not a state entity, a federal entity. It was supposed to be independent of all politics.
Right.
And what we see here now is the revolving door justice, we call it, as well as politics at its worst. At its worst, you've got the liberals out there going, oh, no, just slap them on the hand. It's okay. They're too young to understand. Yet these very same kids at 12, 13, 14, they're allowing to decide whether or not they're boys or girls. They're allowed to end up, you can't allow a legal adult to own a firearm, but it's okay
Right.
for kids to walk around with illegal firearms and just slap
Right.
them on the wrist. It is
So let me,
the progressive
so
left
Ann-
gone amok.
well, let me ask you a question about this, because let's just cut to the chase. Is it time to end home rule? Period.
No,
Good question.
you can't do that.
Well, what do you mean you can't do that? Of
Oh,
course
the,
you can do
the
that.
reason why we have home rule is so the federal government, when it's in the wrong hands, which very well could happen, and by the way, did happen during the Auto Pen administration, could do the same thing. They could just say, "Oh, you people won't go along with gun control. Well, then you know what? We're taking over. We're going to control all your guns." Or basically, they could impose election rules on cities and just say, "Oh, now you have to
Home
push
rule
mail-in ballots."
only about DC, Chris. It only talks about DC.
Okay, I thought you meant home rule
Oh.
as a whole, because
No.
that's right.
Home rule, DC. So DC has been able to kind of cut itself out of this federal collar, if you will. To Ann's point, they were supposed to be there. If you go to DC, even if you go to Arlington, Alexandria in Virginia was part of this square.
Yeah, and they took it out.
And they took it. They gave the Alexandria part, which I don't know. I'm mixed on that. Gave it back to Virginia after the Civil War. Just saying, it's like, okay, I don't know about that, but okay. And then home rule has now been established for DC, for people like Mayor for Life, Marion Barry,
Oh,
to
don't
become
even go
essentially,
there.
This is
the
from
potentate.
1973, yes.
The potentate. And so the idea here is, should we just basically say, city council, mayor, you're done. We're going to put a federal commission in place to run the city. That's what I'm saying.
Again, it's going to be a federal commission, then will be dealt with by the politics of the day. So whoever is ruling Congress and the Senate and the White House would have say over DC. DC should be completely separate from the federal government.
Yeah.
And that's the intention of it. And at this point, we should be charging the mayor for dereliction of duty for not enforcing the law.
Which actually can be done by Congress in a way, because the Home Rule Act of '73 still puts them under the supervision of Congress. Home Rule Act, home rule or not, Congress does have ultimate authority at this point. They could. Look,
So
if Trump
Speaker
didn't put the
Johnson,
EO,
stand up.
right? If Trump didn't put the EO out there, Congress could have just said, "Well, this is what Trump wants to do. We're going to stand behind it." He has a Republican House and a Republican Senate. At this point, he could have done that either way, EO or not. The EO was an emergency basis. He could declare it an emergency either way. But yeah, home rule is still subject to congressional control at this point. But I would say, I thought you meant home rule around the around the country.
No,
I could see Democrats trying to pull that one off.
No,
Well, I like
but
the
we can
outhouse
talk
behind
about
you.
that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I go there when I need to take a break.
So, but that's the thing. It's like, but at this point, I don't think it's a left or right thing, because we were talking first this morning about the clearances, security clearances by those 37 officers that Tulsi Gabbard removed their clearances. Right thing to do. And the same thing here. We're talking about essentially a form of lawlessness, which has become the common denominator for how cities are run. All major blue cities: New York, Baltimore, Cleveland, Detroit, LA, DC. These are all blue cities which have super high crime rates, and that somehow we're the problem because we're saying, hey, maybe you ought to enforce laws. I mean, it's nuts.
You think?
Well,
I just don't understand how, at this point, any rational person, as a matter of fact, I live here in rural North Carolina. Our congressman is Don Davis. He's a Democrat. And he's now making noise like he doesn't want to be a Democrat anymore. He's actually talking about, he wants to be like Andrew Yang, Yin and Yang. You know, isn't that a great band, Chris? Wasn't it Yin and Yang? What happened to Yang? Did Yin go off to China?
Ying and Pong. There we go.
Ying is Ying the one that slept with Swalwell? No, that was Fang Fang. Different one. Sorry, my Yin and Yang and Fangs are all mixing up.
That's right. Besides, well, when you say slip with Swalwell, you got to narrow it down to maybe a couple anyway. So that's another thing.
I'm sorry. That's way after my time. I'm more like Guess Who, Grateful Dead, Deep Purple.
I'm like I guess I'm more of I would say all the new waivers, and before then, if you're looking at the Wizard, the Sweet, and maybe a Slade. I've always been a big Slade fan.
That's way after our time, Tony, and he doesn't have your hair.
I don't have any hair apparently.
So well, mine is actually, leaving slowly but surely. So,
You look marvelous, darling.
So
that's right. Especially looking in the field good, right? And you look marvelous. Absolutely. I miss that. You look absolutely marvelous, darling.
Marvelous,
Absolutely.
darling.
That's right.
You got to have the deep voice like mine.
All right, here's what I want to go with you guys here. Let's change the gear or two. Have you been, while we were talking about Ukraine, while we were talking about all the important things going on in America, the World Economic Forum is trying to dig itself back into the good graces of the rest of the left. First things first, the World Economic Forum's new leadership exonerated Klaus Schwab from his wrongdoing, if you will. They kind of cleared him of the charges where he was making underlings go out and ATM for his massages, if you will, and of course his wife's lavish lifestyle with all the USAID money, if you will. So he was cleared of all of that. But there are a couple of things that they're trying to pull on us, by the way. And also, did you note who the new co-CEO is, or the co-chair is, right? Not the co-CEO. The co-chair with Andre Hoffman is BlackRock CEO Larry Fink now. So let's just take that into consideration. And one of their new movements they're trying to pull is since climate change and vaccinating everybody didn't quite work. They're trying to pull off a new thing called the water crisis. They're trying to convince us there's a huge water crisis out there now.
Yeah.
Now, two things about this video here. Listen to what she says and how she wants to use the World Economic Forum's influence, whatever it has left, to push this water crisis for power. But also, I've always wondered what Sandra Bernhard was doing nowadays. Let's pull that up a little bit. Yes, see, she looks like Sandra Bernhard, in case you didn't notice.
In our nation and globally.
There's some.
Did we actually manage to vaccinate everyone in the world? No. So highlighting water as a global commons and what it means to work together and see it both out of that kind of global commons perspective, but also the self-interest perspective, because it does have that parallel. It's not only important, but it's also important because we haven't managed to solve those problems which had similar attributes. And water is something that people understand. Climate change is a bit abstract. Some people understand it really well. Some understand it a bit. Some just don't understand it. Water, every kid knows how important it is to have water. When you're playing football and you're thirsty, you need water.
Listen to this woman. She is actually telling you people were too stupid to get climate change. Those stupid conservatives, they were too dumb to get climate change. Forget that some of them, like Tony, have degrees in earth science and environmental science. So forget that people like Patrick Moore had disproven all of this, and other brilliant scientists have disproven this junk science. No, people were too stupid. And by the way, let's all talk about water. Hey, you want to do something about water? Go to Flint and help them out. Maybe you get a little bit of that trust back.
So a couple things. First, I always recommend our friend Jerry Corsi's book, The Truth about climate, energy, global warming, and climate. Well researched. As someone who has a degree, me, I recommend this because it is scientifically accurate. Just saying. And to your point, Chris, it's all been a fiction. What they don't like is that no one bought into the Al Gore. Oh, polar bears are dying because of the because the polar ice caps aren't melting; they're getting bigger. So you can't go with that fiction when the actual facts are contrary.
Absolutely.
So the third thing, the last thing I'll do. By the way, did you know that Madonna talks Sandra Bernhard into getting photographed nude? I don't know why, but it's out there. It's like,
why did they do that?
My eyes.
Google
my
it.
eyes.
Yeah. Anyway, but back to global warming.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So Ann, what do you think? Do you think that they're going to people are going to buy into the water thing? Because I don't think it's going to work.
Well, wait a minute, Tony. I don't have a degree in science.
No.
I do have it in business, but I do believe as a little kid in kindergarten, I learned that 3/4 of this planet is water.
Exactly.
So, I mean, where's the water shortage?
Well, here's what they're trying to tell us here. Apparently, there's going to be according to them, again, their doom and gloom prophecy is 40% of a shortfall between demand and supply of water by 2030. 10% of the global population is already living in countries with higher critical water stress. Yeah, I do agree. There are some landlocked countries in the desert that need water, but that was the case for a very long time. Why don't these NGOs do something about that rather than try to manipulate the rest of the world? That's why nobody trusts them.
Yeah, let me point out
change
something.
is amplifying water-related risks. Another one of those doom and gloom climate change prophecies, Tony.
As an elected official, because this is another area that I'm actually kind of an expert in, since I'm actually a county commissioner. The great thing about global water, potable water, that is drinkable water, is that it's all local. It's all remote. Like our county controls our own water. Most counties, so the idea of all of a sudden there's going to be a water shortage, even in some of these nations where it's not as available, it's like, dude, there's plenty of water. As Ann said, there's water everywhere, and a lot to drink. So this is just going to be some more of what they're going to bring up to try to get people to be active. And the other thing she's saying is that the climate change initiative, the global emergency, the climate emergency, was their religion. So they got to find a new religion, because they got to have somebody, some faith they can all point to that has nothing to do with man or God. It's like, we need to go focus on water. And we'll make that our new cross to bear. So I think that's what's going on here. What do you think, Ann?
I am absolutely stunned. I mean, our Earth has gone through cycles: warming, cooling, water, arid. But we've always survived. I mean, climate change didn't work out too well because Christ walked on the world when it was warmer than it is today. We're climbing out of an ice age. And yet we have the science where we can move water wherever we need in the globe. We can seed the clouds to cause rain. We can turn around and build stations for water collection. I mean, my church does that. We send people all over the world to help build areas where they can pot water in.
Exactly.
The science is there.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're feeding on the fear of the ignorant.
So I've heard the term fear porn. Fear porn is what they do. They are masters at creating conditions for people to be afraid. Everything up and down the line, they want you to be afraid. So I think this is their latest. If you like drinking water, you better sign up to our view of the world so we can make sure it's supplied. I think that's what it's about. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Right. And these people never do anything about it. And that's the whole thing. The idea is to just try to find a way to lock us down, try to find a way to limit us so they can have all the perks and everything else. So I guess the happy ending massages that Klaus Schwab got, maybe the new CEOs want those too, by the way. But look, it should raise alarm bells that they brought in the BlackRock CEO to run.
But you know what it is?
To run the World Economic Forum. But
the truth behind it is, follow the Benjamins. They're not getting the money they used to get with global warming and all the other fears. So in order to get the Benjamins to come back into their pocketbooks, they need another fear. So that way the money keeps on rolling. It's billions. No, actually it's trillions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, let's be honest here. Al Gore, who invented the internet, by the way, thank God.
I love it. That's right. He predicted the world's end a few times.
He made billions off the grift. I mean, these people are master grifters. Anthony Weiner, his ex-wife Uma Abedin, who now married Alex Soros.
Yes.
The next
she gets around.
The next Bond villain. Yeah, she does. Well, so did Carlos Danger. Just saying, Carlos Danger was pretty active little wiener.
At least whoever married him knew what she was getting. She saw it all on film.
Literally.
Let's put it this way. If it wasn't for all that, then de Blasio wouldn't have been mayor of New York. That's another issue. So
don't get
Wilhelm,
me started.
wasn't it Wilhelm?
Wilhelm, that's right. I'm sorry, Wilhelm, not de Blasio.
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm.
Dustin's Wilhelm.
You know, he did look pretty German. You know, De Blasio.
A nice Italian boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Italian boys that eat pizza with a fork and knife. That never happens. See, we had one communist eating pizza with the fork and knife, and another communist running for mayor that eats rice with his dirty hands from all the subway touching and all the garbage picking or whatever he does beforehand. You've seen that video?
So yeah, well, if Mendami gets back in, is he going to hire Alex Soros? Yeah, just something. I mean, these people are all kind of hang together. They're all like fungus. They're like a fungus that grows. So
yeah, some billionaire, I guess some billionaire tech or a billionaire hedge fund person just donated a whole crap load of money to his campaign too. So apparently, all billionaires have to go unless they're donors. There we go.
So let's go back to the World Economic Forum for a second. So one of the things that Blackwater, you got thinking there. Is I think they want to try to get into the Ukraine rebuild. I think that's part of what Biden had promised them, which he didn't deliver on, just saying. But right now, I think one of the reasons that you have BlackRock and the Europeans so upset about, and I'm just going to say this because it may be controversial, but it's true. The majority of the rare earth minerals and most of the gas and oil resources, Russia controls right now. So, Ann, do you think that maybe that's part of the motivation of Europe, that they don't want to basically allow Russia to maintain control of these resources, which they thought they were going to get as part of Ukraine coming into the EU? What do you think?
Well, there's a lot going on behind that. And actually, I had a former ambassador to Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. I will not be able to pronounce I cannot say it.
It's tough. I have problems with that stuff all the time.
Yeah. But I had him on my last show, and we were discussing it, and my mind was going a mile a minute. There's a lot here that we're dealing with. To begin with, Russia has been controlling the oil that goes into Europe for the longest time. And if you recall, a few years back, they actually cut off the supply to get whatever demands they had in Europe going on. You have the port of Riga out of Latvia that Russia would love to get back, but you have the corridor next to Lithuania that the Russians still control going into the Black Sea to get that area. You've got China trying to move in with their bridge and other stuff, bullshit going on. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Bull dung. You have to keep it kind of clean here, so it's bull dung.
There are so many moving pieces here, and Russia does see its control being lost. They see them with what's going on in the Caucasus, with the ceasefire with Armenia and I cannot pronounce that country's name. Forgive me for the life of me.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad I'm not the only one that can't do that. But there's so many moving pieces here that Putin sees his control slipping, and the only way he can gain control, he's going to have to now do it through negotiation and not through force. I mean, Poland proved flat out that he can't use force in that one. The split up of Yugoslavia that was in the late 80s, early 90s. Russia saw itself losing control, but that was only a small piece of the puzzle. Like I said, there's so many moving pieces here. So oil is a major thing because Ukraine has a lot of oil. We lost our control over Afghanistan that has all the rare earth minerals, and we gave a pathway to China right there next to Tajikistan to go into Afghanistan, a very narrow area in the mountains, but enough for the Chinese to exploit. Once they have their foothold in Afghanistan, they now have control of a lot of the Middle East. So now you have China in opposition to Russia. And like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces here. And unless you sit down for the next 10 hours, you can't even come close to explaining it. But Putin understands he's losing. He's losing power.
I think part of the thing I always try to do, and I think you do too, and is try to make things understand. Yeah. So Well, I think that's the thing. It's like that so much of what has to do with what's going on, you point out, is all about resource. I know Putin has put forward the idea that, well, we're doing this to rescue the Russian-speaking people. It's like, yeah, well, no, I think it's all about resources. It's about control. China, too. I don't know if you know, I think you probably know, China actually has 2 copper mines that we help them build in Afghanistan. So to me, it's always about the resources.
Well, let's also take it a step further. I mean, again, while we're talking about all of this, the BRICS nations are working on a new currency. They're working on bringing more people into their alliance. And the always know
Right.
the R and the C are Russia and China. We'll see what happens with that. But the idea is they get this alliance solidified. They have the potential to control 72% of the world's rare earth resources, which, of course, in the Western European and the North American turn towards the I guess the green energy, if you will, that relies and is dependent on those resources. They're going to find a way to once again render us dependent on foreign resources for energy rather than produce our own. And that's another issue. We need more influence in some of these producing nations. Yes, we do. But people, it just seems to be people are not watching the not only de-dollarization efforts coming from BRICS, but the idea to solidify more control over rare earth minerals. These things have to be watched and they have to be fought against. And we have to find a way.
Yeah. Well, I think that part of the way is to actually recognize what you're saying, Chris, is the fact that we have allowed for too long this globalization effort to make us subordinate to this one world government. I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with the World Economic Forum taking a step back, recognizing, yeah, nobody's going to buy into the CO2 carbon plant food being evil. And so they got to go to a different evil. And that has to do with water and them having to get into all these different countries to help fix it. I think that's part of what's going on right now. So,
well, what we're also seeing is that these countries, individual countries, are losing their identity because as we fight the One World Earth Forum, we're losing our identity as independent. And that's the whole idea. Take away our independence, our liberties, our freedoms, so they have a one global rule. We're fighting it. And I think we are the standard for fighting that. Germans are no longer Germans. French are no longer French. Italians are no longer Italians because you have so many people turning around and saying, no. You have to understand we're immigrating. No, you're invading the country. And bringing in whatever it is you're bringing in. You have no-go zones in a lot of countries in Europe that are completely Muslim.
You got some of that here.
We just fought it in Texas. They wanted to build this huge city that was a no-go zone in Texas. We do have areas. We have Somalis right now. They're campaigning in Somali language. They're out there in the public square. Instead of addressing all the other voters equally, they want the one world rule, and that is our nation is the only nation really that is truly standing up to against the one world rule.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because I think that's why you have radical Islam in a heavy alliance with the left. I mean, think about this for a second. The left has people parading around, gays and lesbians for Palestine. It's like, do you not understand that they would kill you?
They get tossed off the top of the building. Hey, listen, guys, since 1976, I have been carrying this. This is my Constitution and Declaration of Independence. Since 1976, I've been carrying that. And unless we know what the Constitution is, we fail to understand what our nation is. And we have to get our kids today to learn what our rights are and what makes us different from any nation in the world and prevent this one world rule. It sounds nice in Star Trek, but this is not Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the problem is that Sharia is inimical. That is, it's not compatible with the Constitution. Any religious belief that basically says that you as a woman are less than a man regarding freedoms and respect, that's illegal. It cannot exist. We actually have, women's suffrage. I mean, and the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, who apparently is the greatest Catholic lawmaker ever, according to MSNBC. Just saying, just saying. Hey, it's true. That's what they said that. That's what they said anyway. According to Pelosi's all about women's suffrage, except when it comes to radical Islam. How do they get away with this? I don't understand how a party like the Democrats can promote something that they actually work to undermine.
Well, for her, women's suffrage is Americans have to suffer through these silly opinions from Democrat women. True. Right. There we go.
For nasty Pelosi, she's going to tell the waitress, "Give me another vodka."
So, this is the one thing I don't understand, how Stoli has not become like a multi-global billion-dollar corporation with all the gallons it pours into Nancy. I mean, Chris, do you think we should have Shuri go down or go up to San Francisco to hang out and watch the vodka trucks deliver vodka to Nancy's house there in San Francisco?
And here she is bringing it home on her bicycle right here.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't have room for the dog. There's too much vodka in there.
So,
truth be told, in the second or third grade, I played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. Who played the dog? Did you get a dog to play, or did you have a stuffed animal or something like that? Well, I'm not kidding, because there was a school play when I was younger. I was in the pit band. It was Annie, and they brought in 2 different dogs, I guess, to play Sandy. Yeah. So. You can't have the one play with every.
So Chris, before Ann came in, you were talking about some of the bands you were in, right? You were in, in that. I mentioned Adam Schiff and the Watermelon Heads. You weren't in that band, were you?
That's right. Or Adam Kinzinger and the Failed Five or something like that.
Yeah. Well, by the way, Ann, did you know Tony Blinken was in a college band, and his nickname in that band was Spanky Banana? Did you know that?
Oh, geez, I'm not even going to go there, guys.
I think he was guest guitarist in the Pansy Brigade. The Pansy Brigade. And by the way, I'm not making that name up. That's a real band, the Pansy Brigade.
Well, I still think Spanky
Pansy
Banana
Division
was his nickname too.
I think it was Pansy Division. Excuse me, Pansy Division. That's what it was. That's right. How about this? You had Nancy Pelosi led a band called the Joyless Division.
Oh, that I can believe.
Yeah, I like the Joy Division. Sorry. They were pretty morose, but I'm just saying. So
everything but the vodka.
So, yeah, didn't they do a song about vodka? I don't. We dig. But anyway, back to the Democrat Party, who they're all members of.
Why?
So, that's the thing, is that the Democrats are, I think, the most despicable, most out of touch, very much into regression. And what I'm about to say may get me in trouble, because I do actually have Democrat friends, and I have to, as an elected official, I deal with Democrats, but this is the deal. The Democrats seem bent on the destruction of Western civilization. They don't care. And I've had this discussion with folks, like, I don't like being political. This may sound strange, as much as people see me talking and we're all talking about this stuff. I don't like being political. My job as an intelligence officer was to be neutral, to be ambivalent to politics. I felt I had to get involved once I saw one of the parties, the Democrats, were out to destroy the very system of governance that allows us to have differences of opinion. It's like, yeah, we don't care about differences. We want to destroy the system. So to me, Ann, that's the issue, is that if you have one party who's out to destroy the very foundations of the institutions that allow you to have differences of opinion, you can't permit that, right? I mean, we can't permit the Democrats to burn our system down.
Well, let's start off first off. You're military and you were in intelligence. Isn't that an oxymoron? I'm sorry. That's
horrible.
Not since we were trained by CIA to kill people. Just saying. So just saying.
See, now I was married to Marines, so at one point.
Oh, here it comes.
No. I like Marines. Did you know that the Marines? By the way, here's a Marine survival kit. When you get shot down, they give you crayons because you can eat them and write messages with them. That's the Marine Corps survival kit right there. Just saying.
Oh, maybe we should turn this into one of your other favorite people, Tony, Susan Rice, because we're talking about the left and trying to hang on
Susan
to
Rice.
narratives.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
jeez.
these people hang on to the same narrative over and over again, no matter how debunked it is. So she's on MSNBC, soon to be Ms. Now. That's what it's going to be called, Ms. Now.
Mostly S.
Yes.
Mostly S.
Yes, but
It's a transgender station.
here she is, Susan Rice, trying to push when she was being asked for Ukraine-Russia analysis, but she had to push the Russiagate hoax just one more time.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get that up here. Boy, live television.
Nicole, it's pathetic. It's been clearly and repeatedly established, including by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee led by Marco Rubio, that Russia interfered in the 2016 election by disinformation campaigns, by social media efforts, by all sorts of means short of manipulating the actual vote. And that's just a fact. Now, obviously, Donald Trump doesn't like that fact. He doesn't like the fact that the intelligence community and the Senate bipartisan Intelligence Committee assessed that this interference was intended to not only sow distrust in our democracy, but to benefit Donald Trump.
See, these are complete lies that she still seems to try to perpetrate.
Still.
And you know why? Because
Still.
the people who believe leftism and statism is their religion still watch MSNBC, have no idea what's going on outside of that channel, and try as hard as they can to push those same narratives on social media. You see them.
Yeah.
You see these people.
Yeah, I see U.S. USN Air Crew says, I agree. Orange jumpsuit for Rice. Susan Rice should be enjoying having orange jumpsuits and group showers with all of her lesbian friends for the rest of her life. I think that's
she'd enjoy. Yeah, she would enjoy women's prison. I have to tell you, she'd be running the cigarette cartel.
She would thrive.
Yes.
She would thrive in women's prison. Absolutely,
she would be the
it's
boss.
a better place for her.
Yes,
Well,
Hillary could be your girlfriend.
Let's look at the optics of this whole thing, though. She's got a fireplace that's screened off with a wood or coal burning stove behind that. That's new green energy to begin with. But if you also look at the optics when Trump greeted Putin, Trump is sitting on this, about maybe almost a 6-foot wide red carpet, and Putin is walking on this maybe 2-inch wide red carpet to greet him. Talk about points of power.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the optics we got here, gents. I mean, this is just, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, part of this is that the Democrats, like her, are desperate to maintain some sense. If you look at that, look at what's behind her there. Just look at that photo. It's all homey. It's like, I'm just a homey little person. While in reality, I think she's one of the most vicious, most uncaring individuals who was working, by the way, to advise Biden on the economic harm that we have been living through. She helped create the high interest rates that every American suffered from. Right there, Susan Rice and Valerie Jarrett, they were the puppet, they were the hands up Joe Biden's ass. Right, Chris?
Yeah, they were. And they were prominent with the Obama campaign as well. And they were prominent in trying to get Hillary Clinton elected by any means possible.
Yeah.
Look, the Democrats really screwed up by nominating Hillary Clinton or nominating Kamala Harris. Think about it. Trump, for all the good things he's done, he's still not necessarily as popular as a lot of other people could have been. But the Democrats ran two of the worst possible candidates to run against anybody. These were sure losses. And let's put it this way, Biden was a sure loss too, except for the fact that he had Obama's coattails, and they had a lot of machinations behind that. But what were they thinking, putting two of the most unlikable candidates up against Donald Trump?
I think no. Look, Chris, I gotta take issue. I think Kamala Harris is very likable. As long as you actually drink vodka with her. If she's buying the vodka, I'd be there with her. Let her buy all the shots.
Money's no object for that. Yeah,
money's no object.
Sorry, I'm Scotch. Give me Scotch.
Yeah. And by the way, did you see that Emma, her daughter, is got she's like on the internet and wearing jeans. Did you go to my feed, Chris? If you go to my feed, you have Emma. Did you see her wearing her jeans, her Salvation Army jeans? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I think I did see that. I have to kind of dig that
Oh,
one up.
she's got good genes.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't
well,
resist.
I don't know. No, if we could bring that up, that's a good picture of Emma. Emma. It's there. It is.
Oh, you got it.
It's
Okay.
yeah, it's a Salvation Army brand jeans, and man, oh man, you could smell that picture.
Okay, I gotta find it.
It's like it just comes off the picture. So, yeah, it's nasty. So if you trust me, if Chris can find the picture real quick, you'll see what I smell. I mean, smell what I see. Something like that.
Bad. All right,
That's
I'll
how
dig
good
that
her
up.
genes are. I'm sorry, I can't resist that one.
It's a scent that patchouli can't overcome, right?
Again, but patchouli covers up only so much. We'll just put it that way. Still scrolling down, still looking. You got a lot of stuff here. By the way, check out Tony's X because he's got some. Really
Oh yeah, we're going to be doing special things on my X. Yeah.
Yes,
not well. Yeah,
there she is, right?
There she is. You bring it up. There she. Oh my God, there it is. You can all suffer through. Yeah, there's yeah. So let's do a quick survey of the Patriots. Hey, Patriots, what kind of jeans does she have? I say it's Salvation Army jeans.
I say it's dirty jeans.
I say Sweeney has better jeans than that.
By the way, I'm sorry. I wouldn't wear those anyway. I don't know. I think I can't. I just there's no when the liberals say no words. This is probably what they mean right here. And what's this? A tattoo of a cow?
Yeah, cow. So a memory of cat urine comes to mind when I see that picture. Just saying.
It's definitely 37 cats in your future.
No. You just insulted my 5 cats.
Oh, I love cats.
Cats are very polite and take care of themselves. That doesn't take care of herself. Just saying. No. I don't know what that does.
I got one more.
By the way, is that a new feminine thing on the left? A monobrow? Is that a monobrow thing? Is that something the left females are doing now? I don't know.
I honestly can't answer that. I actually had someone approach me in a bar one day. Yes, I go to bars occasionally, and told me that I shouldn't pluck my eyebrows. And I said, I'm sorry, dude, this is what God gave me. I don't think that's what God gave her. If he did, then he was having one hell of a joke.
Well, I think.
Well, I don't know.
She was watching too much Dodgeball.
There it is.
You remember Dodgeball, a true underdog story? She was from the global or the Ben Stiller team. That was that's where she got her unibrow and hairstyle from.
Yeah, that's severe. So I don't know. I can't believe that she's Kamala's daughter. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know.
I pity any man that dates her.
Oh, man. Are you saying man?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, maybe I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Hey, not that there's anything wrong with that, but come on.
I forgot there's 2 genders.
Well, all right.
I don't.
I have one more for you guys, and this is something totally off the subject. But you remember the meeting the other day, the meeting between Trump and the European leaders. I found this. I should have played it yesterday. But Fred Merz, the Chancellor of Germany, here was yammering on, and you got to see what Giorgia Meloni was doing when Merz was yammering on. There he goes.
Try to put pressure on Russia because the credibility of this effort.
She's rolling her eyes.
Like, here we go again.
Pressure on Russia.
There goes Fred off the reservation. Well, she's right, because Merz was saying we got to go to the unconditional ceasefires. Like, it's not gonna happen.
We can't take any
off
land,
the
Ricky.
Table.
No, Ricky, we can't take any land. And besides, what's Lucy and Ethel doing right now?
Well, I gotta compliment my fellow paisana, my fellow Italian. I love her. I love her.
Italian sense. There we go. We can call it.
Yeah. Well, I think the honest answer, she was hoping to find Elon to take him out for dinner later in the day, but I don't know. I think he's in Texas, so I don't know if they hooked up or not, but who knows, right? So, well, we got to go. It's been another great show. And
Well,
what?
my Trumpy bear and my Packers bear say hi.
Oh, good. That's right. So, what? Yeah, there it is. We want to promote that Southern Sense Talk Radio, right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, Southern Sense, a great show. It's cool. You're going to have one of my favorite guys on pretty soon, too. So, and Tony's been on several times. Check it out. A lot of great guests on Southern Sense Radio. By the way, tomorrow, as you know, the Wake Up Patriots, the Patriots are going to be meeting in Nashville this weekend. And Trixie, Sean, and George have Pastor Andrew Phipps on tomorrow as a guest. They're doing the show live from Nashville on Thursday and Friday. And Friday's going to be a 3-hour live special. So there'll be a lot of partying going on there. So really check that out.
Wow, 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm sorry I have to miss it. There's some home issues here. So I couldn't really make it out of the house this time. But
yeah,
I'm
going to be out west over the weekend doing work on a secret project. It's not so secret. We're kind of working on my Twitter, my X feed. So we're developing some stuff for that. Chris is involved. So we'll be doing some, interesting things. We're trying to develop. We've announced we're going to be doing some 9/11 stuff in September. We have some special guests to include. I'm going to just announce it. Catherine Herridge. Catherine Herridge will be one of our first guests. So Catherine, my friend Kath, will be doing some 9/11 stuff with us. So it's going to be huge because Catherine rarely talks about stuff, like that, because she's off doing a lot of other things. But we'll be doing that. So that's coming up. Come visit. Well, Jamie, I don't know where you're at. Jamie Burns wants me to come visit. I don't know where you're at, so I can't visit if I don't know where you're at.
Yeah, we will find out. What we'll do is we'll get some intelligence and we'll just find your address and then we'll tell Tony come by. There we go.
Well, Tony,
right.
Tony, I have to say thank you for remembering my guys on 9/11 also. I also fly the flag of honor during the whole entire month of September. To never forget those that I know and others that were lost on that day that ran into the building and never made it back out.
So, I think most of you all know my son, Alexander, who's now 31, time flies, is a fireman and medic. And I am very proud of the fact that was his choice. And obviously I honor the NYPD and firefighters, the New York firefighters who all bravely did amazing things that day. And as a matter of fact, Kurt Weldon, who is a big supporter of firefighters, Kurt and Dennis Kucinich, my friend, Crazy Dennis. I love you, Dennis. We're all going to be doing a talk on this very topic in Washington, D.C. on 9/11, on the 9/11 anniversary. So more to come on that. But we'll be talking. Yeah, check that out. We're going to be doing that. But we will be. Let me bring it up here because I just got the official invite the other day. Let me see where it's at here. Hold on. 1 second. Internet is slow. The Al Gore internet's slow. So I'll be talking at the DC forum. Yeah, Al Gore is dogging the internet today. Apparently, all the juice for his mansions, all the power to cool his mansions, taking all the power. So anyway, so I'll be in DC with these folks. Turning the tide, 9/11 justice in 2025. That's the event. So we'll be there for that. You can get tickets for that, as a matter of fact. I just found that out because I should look at my email more often.
Yeah, you get people to show up there.
I know. Anyway, we'll be doing that. So we'll talk more about that before the event. Anyway, Ann, thank you for being here. We will always recognize and honor those who put the uniform of law enforcement or first responders on. And other than that, I guess, by the way, I'm off Monday because I'm going to be out west, Chris. This is new to Chris, but I will be back Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So there you go.
Okay, we'll have fun on Monday. I got some things happening, so we will come up with a cunning plan.
That's right. So, and more to come on cunning plans and media. We're going to do all sorts of media stuff because we want to bring in some of our rock and roll friends to do things with us too. So
Yeah, we got a lot going on, and things are going to be
Yeah.
changing, and we're going to have we're going to make some major announcements here pretty soon. And we want you. We'd love to have you all with us and along with us, and we're really grateful for all your support here, and thank you.
yeah. All right, go. Well, thanks, Ann. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Patriots.
you.
We'll see you all again soon.
And God bless.
God bless.